of us doing? If everybody did.
Okay, you're ready.
Okay, today is January 15th, 2026. I'd like to call this meeting of the Teton County Library Board of Directors to order. We have a quorum. Elizabeth's here, Miles is here, I'm here, and Gilda is here on Zoom. So we have a quorum. Can we adopt the agenda?
I move to approve the January 2026 regular meeting agenda.
Any discussion about it? Anybody second?
Second.
Miles seconds, and let's vote on it. And all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, motion passes. We have meeting minutes from November 20th and December 18th, 2025. I will move to approve the minutes of those meetings. Anybody want to second that motion?
I second.
Do we have any discussion on this meeting minutes? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, motion passes. Minutes for November 20th and December 18th, 2025 are approved. Do we have any correspondence?
Don't be surprised to know you do all the time.
Public comment. Is anybody on?
There's no one online and no one in house.
No public comment. Okay, let's move on. Financial information and reports. Stella?
Good morning all and happy new year. In my financial report, I wrote that at the time that I was writing this yesterday, we still had not received the revenue report or the balance sheet from the treasurer's office. So in the on the report under income categories, I pulled the revenue for December from the clerk's detailed revenue report. So that's where you have that information that came from the clerk's office. I did check this morning at 9:05 and the treasurer's reports were still not there because I thought maybe I could give you a bit of an update. Also, regarding the revenue report that you typically see, the layout is a little bit easier to read than what I wrote here, and it also gives you the full totals for the year. So tried to do the best I could to at least provide you with income information.
Thank you.
Overall, we're looking pretty good. The one unusual category that we don't typically see on a monthly basis is the sundry revenue, and that's just odd miscellaneous income that may come in. So from what I could tell from the reports, it looks like one portion of that income was actually an outstanding check that was never cashed. I didn't go back and get to see what that was. But I guess it went on long enough. I do know that I believe it's every December that the county, they look at any outstanding checks and then they deal with those situations. So I think that that's what that might be from. So it could also be several checks. And then it also looked like there were 2 reversals that the county did. So, so that's what that extra sundry revenue is. Passport fees are looking good. Interest income is looking quite healthy as it has been the past few years. So I think we're in good shape with overall revenue. But the nice thing about the treasurer's report is it actually shows you the overall percentage and so forth. So hopefully we'll be able to have that next month that will reflect the January. Just want to share with you at the May 8th meeting, the board at that time approved the library entering a new contract with Library Market for our new website development and content creation. And at that point, at the start of the contract, we had to pay half that was due. So the library paid that out of our operating budget. And then the foundation and friends had graciously agreed to include the other half in their budget. So I did submit, so that came due this month, and so I did submit that to the foundation and friends for payment, so thank you. Also part of this, though, is we will have an annual maintenance fee, maintenance cost, which is $2,000. We also have another library market product, which is our calendar software management system. So our annual fee with that comes due in April. So what the CEO did is he prorated our maintenance cost. So we only are paying 500 this month with our vouchers. And then in April, it'll align with our other library market products. So we'll be paying a bit more, but at least everything for library market will come due now in April, which will be nice. So that's just that notation there. We typically have postage due to Pitney Bowes. We did not have any due this month. And sometimes that's because we just wind up paying more in a given month. But I do want to note, last month we did receive our new machine, and we are now seeing a slight discount on our postage paid to the US Postal Office, which is part of working with Pitney Bowes, but that's something we hadn't seen previously, so we are seeing that slight discount cost. That said, postage is going up this Sunday, so we'll see how that affects things.
What about those forever stamps?
And then regarding our capital reserve, we had 3 expenditures in December. 2 of those were directly related to the computer revamp project that we did that came out of our capital improvement. And that's the every 5 years of replacing all of the public and staff computers just for life cycle purposes. And then part of that cost was taking all of the old items over to ISWR for e-waste disposal. So that's what some of the costs were last month for capital reserves. And unfortunately, because I did not have the treasurer's report, I don't have where we are at overall with our capital reserve fund balance. And then something else I want to make note of, if you're looking at your expenditures and appropriations report, on page 2, or what is listed as page 72, the line item for capital reserve expenditures, 910-000, the amounts there are actually incorrect. And the reason for that is at the beginning of every fiscal year, we ask the treasurer's office to roll over or transfer the funds that were budgeted for that year into the actual fund. Reason being is that per state statute, that cannot be touched once it's in our capital reserve fund by any county entity other than the library. So we automatically do that process. We did do that process at the beginning in July of the fiscal year. But for some reason over at the office there was a mistake. And in previous years, we've been funding it at 150,000 per year because we had budget cuts for fiscal 26. We were only able to fund 50,000. Somehow it was mistakenly accounted for that we had the 150,000. So that's why there is some error in this line item, that it looks like we're over budgeted by 242%. That is not accurate. So hopefully that will be corrected next month. And then also for you, your board members, just so you know, what happens is we expend any capital reserve items out of this account. And then over at the treasurer's office, they do a journal entry every month where they back those out of our expenditure account. So it really only should look like a zero balance because of the 50,000 that we rolled over at the top of the year. So I don't know if there's any questions on that.
Well,
Thank
there are
you.
questions, but not for you. This is happening all the
So we're actually good and the actual amounts are actually there. It's just an accounting snafu, if you will. And then I just want to make note of, and many of you live in the county, so you probably saw that Lower Valley Energy is going to be increasing natural gas rates. I did talk to our facilities maintenance coordinator, Rick, in terms of how he feels this rate increase will affect us, and he feels like it'll basically be invisible. For two reasons. One, we had the project a month or two ago where we replaced our hot water heater, and it's now much more efficient and it's now running on electric. So we still have two items in this library that do run on natural gas, and that's the fireplace and also our boiler system. But even overall, this rate increase shouldn't we shouldn't really see any effect in cost. So I just want to make note of that. And then we will be having a lighting project that's forthcoming, but I will let Eric, when his time is coming up, to explain that to you. Any questions?
Thank you.
Okay, so can we proceed to pay the library vouchers? Peg, you wanna make a motion on that?
I would like to, but I can't open that file. Where did you guys find it with the amount? Or Elizabeth just wrote down the amount? Maybe she can make the call? Thank you. Appreciate that.
I move to approve the payment of library vouchers in the amount of $61,185.31.
I'll second.
Any discussion on this? Okay, no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Nobody's opposed, so the motion has passed to pay the library vouchers in the amount of $61,185.32. Thank you. Directors.
Oh, yeah. It's
Can
written.
you repeat the amounts?
$61,185.31.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, yes, correct. Thank you.
All right, directors reports.
Sure. It's a long report, sorry. Lots.
Like your long reports.
I usually list things that are upcoming on our calendar. If you notice, it's like 3 times as long as usual. So we have a very busy spring. Several conferences, several programs going on. Various staff will be going to the conferences. So just know that you may look for one of us and not be here.
Okay.
Yesterday, we came into work and we had a different office suite product for the patrons. And we have had an ongoing problem with making Microsoft Office comply with both county and library policies and principles. Microsoft is a little invasive.
Yeah.
And you're not able to take them out of harvesting your personal data. So patron documents were being uploaded to the cloud, and our software that resets a computer after the patron uses it, while the local computer was being wiped clean, the cloud piece, it was untouchable. So, and there was no way to fix that. And since patron privacy is kind of what we hang our hat on every day, and we want people to trust the library and that we're protecting their privacy. And so we shifted to LibreOffice yesterday, which is in all the reviews I read, sometimes often better than Microsoft Office. It's more functional in some ways. And so that is out on the public machines. And we are going to do, Gwen is doing a little lunch and learn for staff here, I believe, Friday. And then I think we're gonna try and have maybe a brown bag thing for patrons to come and get some tutoring. Or if they're interested.
Great.
So-
Yeah, please let us know. We'll keep our eyes open because I'd love to attend that. So
Okay.
Trent.
Sure.
I
Thank you.
would too, because I've had some issues personally with, on my PC, not on my Mac. Invaded,
Yeah, it's,
yeah.
we're currently not planning to shift staff, off of it. There are other setups that, and staff don't have the same protections, obviously, as. So, but right now, we're kind of split. The public has one product instead.
Seems to be wandering,
Have one.
that is the issue.
Yeah. What else would I like to highlight? Just a reminder, the legislative session is starting on February 9th, which will be before our next meeting. We do have the partnership program at the center for the screening of the librarians and the advocacy workshop the following day. When Mary Lee is back, she and I will need to sit down and either reach out to the commissioners about the work that the county's lobbyists will be doing on our behalf, or directly to the lobbyists. I've got mixed messages on how that works. So Mary Lee and I will figure that out, make sure that our lobbyist is on the same page as we are. And then library staffing news, we have several changes in staffing. After 23 years of service to the library, Jessica Johnson, senior library assistant, resigned her position for some personal reasons. So we wish her well, and we had lost a couple of staff to other jobs in October, and those positions have been filled. So we have 3 staff that started in December, 2 part-time staff, 1 in circulation, 1 in youth services, and then we have a full-time senior library assistant that has started in adult services. So, and because of Jessica's departure, we are currently recruiting that position. So once that position is filled, we will be maxed out on all of our staff positions and fully staffed. So the other things that I would mention will end up being Eric's conversation with us. So any questions on that?
I do have a few things, if you wouldn't mind. Please extend our welcome to the 3 new staff members. And I was thinking, in an effort to know the faces of staff names and for them to know us, and if you could just brainstorm a way that meeting them might be possible. I was thinking, for example, maybe they could pop in a few minutes before the board meeting that happens right after they're hired. I just went online to try to see their photos, and learn a little bit about them, but face to face is always appreciated.
Sure. Much easier to accomplish that with a full-time person.
Sure,
The
of
part-time
course.
people, probably working around another job at this time. I'm not sure, but I can figure something out.
Great point, thank you.
I also have thought about. We don't have any, well, we have staff present, obviously, but I was thinking of inviting another staff member next month to talk about their project with you. So I'd like to keep that kind of feature going so that you get to see staff pass.
It takes a while.
Thank you.
I mean, best way to learn staff is to be here when we're not here as board.
Mhm.
And that would.
Thank you. Two more things. Fine. I would love to see the early literacy room, so I don't know if anyone wants to pop over there after this meeting.
It's great, but apparently it's early.
I read that.
Comment.
Wants to play with his trucks. That's hilarious.
It's a truck. I mean, it's already a truck, so I don't know, but I thought that was a funny.
And then I guess the last, and I mean, this could be part of the Foundation and Friends report, but I just thought, since many of us will be there, maybe we can try to make an effort to get a photo together at the Center for the Arts Film.
Oh, sure.
Sorry, I
Okay,
should have been more clear. The librarians.
Screening, okay.
Screening.
How long did it take us to get the last group photo, Diana?
10 months? No, I'm so excited. These are great events coming up, so,
Yeah.
see you there.
If you meet better boards, 2 nights, please.
Yeah, 3 nights. Be good. Okay, thank you for your time. I'll leave my
I'm
things
happy
there.
that that's what I'm looking for, to answer your question, so.
I guess I've got one really quick
Okay.
one on the
Sure.
comments as well. I think I've seen a few times of asking about the rec center passes. Was that us retracting the rec center from the passes or a Parks and Rec side? And then it said that maybe coming back temporarily.
It was a Parks and Rec decision when the new director came on board. He discovered or stated that there was an excessive number of free passes floating around the community that were tied to other organizations, and none of them were consistent in how they were being used. And so they stopped all of them and said they would revisit at some point. I have reached out at least once since that and asked where they were in the process. And at that time, they still hadn't really tackled them. So I will keep pushing because it was our most popular pass. And as a county department, it seems like at least the library should have free pass. So yeah, I can keep on it.
Sweet. Yeah, it seems like all the other ones are really popular. I use that one every month. It was great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do what I can. And all the other beacons.
Any other discussion of Tim's report? And you know, for yours?
Yeah. I'm not sure, we've not met since the library benefit, have we, as a group? Okay, great. Well, thank you very much for your incredible amount of support in attending the library benefit. It was a great success, as you saw. We sold out again, once again. We had about 390 guests present, as I mentioned in the report, and everyone really kind of got in the spirit of the theme, including Kip. It was so great to see the festive environment, and we raised about $141,000. So very excited about that. Want to share that with you, and want to thank you so much for your beautiful gesture of appreciation to all the staff and those homemade cards you all made. And thank you for including us, the Foundation and Friends. What a treat it was to see this adorable snowman on my desk. Card and chocolates have been greatly appreciated. So thank you so much for that. Love that. And I wanted to share with you just a couple of things. We're launching a brand new website as well, same time around as the library. Ours will be live next week. We're hoping it goes live by at least Thursday or Friday, but the date I think today is the day the transition starts, but you just technology, it takes a few days to actually become live. So we're going to be sending out an email announcement to let folks know when it is live. And we do have links on our site to the library's new site as well. And we wanted to we're also welcoming 3 brand new board members to the Foundation and Friends board. Allison Engel and John Chapdelaine and Janice Harris are joining the board. And we'll be making an announcement, sharing their bios on our website and through email announcements. So you'll get a chance to learn more about them. And then Kip already mentioned the librarian screening. So we're thrilled to have this opportunity to champion the library. We've been talking for over a year about how the foundation and friends might become more of a voice, more of an advocate for the library. And as you can see, this is really a critical moment. And so we're really thrilled for this opportunity coming up. So we are excited that you're all planning to attend. And that's it for me. Any questions? Oh, and your spending. I've included a finance report that shows library enhancements through December 31st. This isn't absolutely comprehensive as we're still entering credit card statement data through the end of the year. So, but we're pretty close here. And you'll notice on the budget versus actual, the budget line is going to be your full year, like what we budgeted for the entire year. So then you can see, for example, if we're halfway through the year, many of these should be close to 50%, but because spending it's not a constant, it's not consistent. Sometimes some programs are more heavy spent in the spring, some in the fall. So don't be concerned by the percentage of the total budget that you see represented. It's just a reflection of how the spending rolls out for the year. So, and I welcome any questions.
Questions?
Please welcome the new board members for us. We appreciate their commitment.
Okay, Eric, you're up.
I'm up, all right. Thank you all for having me. I have two projects to talk about, and I forgot to kind of go through each and then we can answer any questions that you have at the end. The two projects are the electric vehicle charging stations in the parking lot, and then the lighting retrofit for the library. The electric vehicle charging stations, we completed our design in the fall, and then we were told that by the Federal Highway Administration that we needed to wait until everyone had completed design, all the other partners had completed design and completed NEPA paperwork. In the interim, I completed NEPA paperwork, involved reaching out to lots of different entities around the state, federal agencies, to make sure that we weren't going to disturb all legally or pick up any archaeological artifacts or anything like that, which there's very low chance of happening in our parking lot. Worked through that, got all those approvals, submitted that to the Federal Highway Administration. So we're just basically in a holding pattern until the other groups all get to this point. The good news on that is all the other groups, with the exception of the Sessionaires and Yellowstone and Grand Teton National Park, have all moved forward and are working on design right now. And are at various stages of that. The airport is actually finished design. It's kind of in a similar space to us because they're able to do their design in-house. And then pardon me. Oh, I just had a brain just broke for a moment. But the rest of them are all in design. The town has approved the design contract. The rest of the county entities has also approved the design contract. The Stilson side of that was previously designed before the grant was awarded, so that's kind of in a different space, but is working through NEPA and all that on that side. And then Central Wyoming College is also kind of in the middle of design. And Teton Village Association also managed to get their design out there. So everyone's in there in the next few months. That should all be done. And then we can ask for phase two. The timing in there, I will also be putting out an RFP for the construction. The timing is the interesting thing because I need to put out the RFP in a time that the construction company is willing to wait until we get approval for phase two funding to move forward. The other part of that project is in terms of reimbursements. And so I submitted for reimbursements for our design, for 80% reimbursement on what we spent. They came back and they would like, the Federal Highway Administration would like a canceled check. So in addition to the invoices and the voucher. So Stella's working with me on that, getting them to cancel check. The airport just went through this last week and they got approval and the reimbursement came back. So other than the fact that there's only 4 people working in the Wyoming office of the Federal Highway Administration, they are working forward in good faith and getting us what we need. And so that's where that is. I'm still hoping for a spring, optimistic for a spring groundbreaking installation, spring and summer.
Great work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The other one is the lighting project, which does not involve the federal government, so this will proceed more quickly. So the library, when it was built, was LEED certified, but it was built kind of before LEDs became a thing that was common in lighting. So most of the lights in this building are fluorescent and are fluorescent tubes. I went through, there was a state grant for $30,000 that I received to help update our lighting. And I had an audit done on the entire building, called a white light audit. Last year, it took about, the grant took 9 months to be awarded, so it's been quite a while since the white light audit, maybe a year. So we got that money back, and then I also had, energy mitigation program, this funding that the county collects. If you were to build a large commercial building or a large house or have a heated driveway, you have to pay money into this fund to get your building permit. You can then mitigate that with solar panels or building above code, or windows, insulation, such like that. But then when you don't mitigate, that comes into a fund that we can spend on county buildings and public buildings, to do energy efficiency improvements. So that funding is what I'm going to pay for the rest of the library retrofit. So we have $30,000 from this grant, and then the remainder, which we're anticipating to be between $150,000 and $200,000 total, to come out of EMP. I will have to get that approved by the Board of County Commissioners. I don't foresee that being a problem. We're constantly getting EMP projects approved by them, and we have plenty of funding to cover this. It's not going to just work, because there's always money coming in. I actually just received an update yesterday, so we're not going to be bankrupting the balance, which is the only thing I can see is going to be pulled up. So I'm going to apply for EMP projects once we have a contract in place. There are some smaller parts of it that we're going to do ahead of that I don't need to go to them for. There's some retrofit being done in the lobby area that is under $7,500 that I currently have other money set aside for, that I don't have to go back with more approval on. So that is just going to happen, and Rick can get it scheduled. And then we're also going to have 2 studies done. One for the Ordway here to redo the lighting controls in this area and look at the lights to kind of get an idea of how we want to do that. And the other for the whole rest of the library, because there's a separate lighting control in this area than there is for the rest of the building. So we're having an electrician come do that and then get it out of EMP again for a couple $1,000 that costs. So then we put out an RFP on the big project. We'll have an exact scope of what we need, what kind of lighting fixtures we want, what we expect, making sure those lighting fixtures also on the back end, I'll be able to collect rebates from Lower Valley Energy. And those rebates then I'll be able to utilize for more sustainability projects. Yeah, and that should cut. I mean, there's so much. It's a lot of energy. That will definitely more than offset any like the increases in both electricity and gas that have happened in the last few years. It should really help our bills and our and cut down our demand charges quite a bit as well.
Great.
Yeah, happy to answer any more detailed questions about this. Oh, and that is scheduled to happen. I'm going to try to put an RFP out in February. We're trying to have the studies done between now and about a month from now, and then I'll be putting out the RFP in February, and that process takes a bit. So we're looking at later in the late winter, early spring for working on that retrofit based on a lot of it isn't too intrusive, but you don't have to close the library for most of it. I have to close off an aisle at a time. So it's kind of working with Stella and Rick to kind of figure out how that would look and when we need to schedule it.
Peggy has a question.
Yeah, thank you, Eric. I know this stuff is really challenging because the technology has changed so much, even in 10 years. My couple questions, just for my own knowledge, are you talking about changing bulbs or literally changing fixtures?
So mostly changing bulbs and removing ballasts. Fluorescent tubes have like a ballast that also draws energy that can also go bad. And so if you can remove they make bulbs now where you don't have to have a ballast. And so removing the ballast is preferred by Lower Valley Energy and by facilities folks because there's less things that can break. So just removing the ballast and then just replacing the bulbs. And removing the ballast is the part of the job where you're technically supposed to have an electrician. Something I could do if it was my house, and probably most of us here could handle. And also the volume on the go is more than anyone could handle. Any one person already has other responsibilities. So bulbs and ballasts for the most part. That being said, in here, some of these fixtures might need to be replaced because some of the controllers and stuff they don't make anymore. So that would be a little more involved. And then replacing the controller for the library as part of this project. That is like kind of all the switches. Basically, if you took all the light switches, put them in a computer board in the back that added scheduling to them, it would be that thing. So replacing that is part of this as well. So,
And from what I
Great.
understand, controller is at its end of life.
yes, yeah, the controller is they don't make it anymore. They don't support it anymore. There's one guy who is going to retire, who is still able to offer a little bit of support. And then Chris Moran has done a lot of work, like trying to find parts to keep it going. So it just needs to be replaced, and if I can do it as part of this project, and it's not, I think it fits well within this project, just rope it in, and make it all one large EP project. We can just do it all at once, which is great.
So two other questions. One, we took a little seminar yesterday, a webinar, Stella and Kip and I, and lighting being so important and those controls being so important and the ability to have some flexibility with the controls was one of the issues in this webinar. So I don't know how much control in terms of dimmability or things like that. And then the other question would be, it's only been 10, 12 years. In 10 to 12 years, do we have to anticipate, another technology, if you will, that needs to be upgraded? So they're just some thoughts, but thank you for your work on this. I think, it's time, and we know how much things are changing, and we have to be on top of it, especially when parts aren't available, but it is the right thing to do in terms of energy efficiency and whatnot.
And it should have a simple payback of, even though this is coming out of a different bucket, simple payback in about 3 years. So
Great,
even if it's
great.
up in 10 years, that's 7 years of savings. So.
Great.
You mentioned the or the seminar yesterday. Stella and I have yet to watch it, but you watched it in the back staff area, so you noticed the level of light in that area, and that is something we're trying to figure out. And from what I understand, it will have that kind of flexibility where certain workstations can have more light than others, and it is more flexible than what we have now, which is kind of on or off.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's key, because we're finding that people have different tasks. People have different ideas of what's dark and light. So yeah, exactly. So thank you.
Yeah.
And the new bulbs do have the ability to select our color temperature. And then, dimmability is definitely part of it. It's really whatever. It can be dimmable, or I'm assuming will be dimmable, but you can dimmable or not dimmable is just totally up to what we decide to spec out. And that's more happy to, I think it's very common to have, it's not dimmable is going to break the bank. It's just part of what we'll have to set up. So I think that we can do that. I don't see any roadblocks in having more customability to the system than we have now.
And just want to add one thing. I made a little note of this in my financial narrative. But what Eric and I believe is that for the work for the library, we'll be able to submit any invoices directly to the county. So this would not be anything that we perceive that we'll need to come to the board and ask for funding. It's just more of informational, because payments will go directly to Eric and the county. So.
Thank you for that clarification. Any other discussion or questions for Eric? Okay, so we got a
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
matter from board members, involving the website redesign. And Stella, you can tell us.
Cheers.
I like the new website.
Okay, so with your glasses, very well. So first off, to tell you, I am horrible with just a track on a laptop. I usually always have a mouse, so forgive me if I'm fumbling around. The two things I'd like to share with you all. So this is our new website. It's certainly, we feel a lot cleaner and a lot more user friendly than working within Exhibit Plus. Civic Plus has its purpose, it's for government websites. Of course, we are a government, but we're a library, so there's just different needs that we have as the library, which is one of the reasons why. We wanted to find a product more suitable to library purposes. So, as was in the past, the library board information is under our about area. So Kip just navigated to this. With our previous website. Here's where I'm gonna do bad with the mouse. With the previous website, you had a link directly. There was a different layout in terms of how you saw the agendas and meeting minutes and video caption. Because you library board members are a county board, what we're going to do going forward, and what we've already started to do with last month's meeting and this month's meeting, is actually have the board meeting agendas and documents on the county's website, which I'll go to here in a moment. For your purposes, you'll still have all your documents in Teams. We'll still do that, but in terms of public posting of the agenda and so forth, that will be on the county's board pages, so that we're in line with what is going on with other county boards. So you can see that. No, I'm not missing my mouse.
You're good, take your time.
So we'll still, of course, have on the library's board page information about when the meetings are typically held, your regular meetings. You'll still have information about who you are. And then, of course, the board meeting dates. But you can see when I click on January 15th, we now have a hyperlink here to the agenda, which again is in the past. What I want to show you though is, just so you are aware, how to navigate to the actual county. Now, just about the same day that we launched our completely new website, the county also launched a revision of their site. So if you haven't looked at it recently, it is got a lot more graphics and a bit more user friendly. But to get to board documents for the public, you're just going to scroll down on this homepage to the Board of County Commissioners, and then on the right-hand side here where it says agendas and minutes, you'll click on that, and then this should look relatively familiar to everybody because the county is still there on Civic Plus, so this is how our Civic Plus looked previously. So if you just scroll down, so you can see that all the various boards are here. And eventually we're gonna get to library. Library. Now, at this point in time, you're only seeing one agenda item because we're in a new calendar year. So, but you can see that this also is going to give you a link to the agenda. Oops, lost. Just close that. I can't see it because of the top bar. Also, the minutes will eventually be posted here, as well as the video recording. We're still going to link out to our YouTube site. Some project work that I need to do is to transfer over our existing documents that are still residing on the library Civic Plus site to here, so that we'll have an archive of that information. So in theory, if we click that arrow, you would see more information in the future. But like I said, that's going to be a bit of a project. We do have a bit of time with Civic Plus, even though it's no longer visible to the public, we're still able to access our documents on the Civic Plus site. The one thing I would recommend is at the top of this page, there is a keyword search function. I would not recommend using the word library because anywhere, anytime, any other board has the word library, you're gonna get the word library. So I would recommend just scrolling down to library. But I wanted to show you all this, just in case public is asking you or anybody else, hey, how do I find the agendas now? You just refer them to go to the county's commissioner webpage, documentation over there.
Thank you.
Any questions?
I have a question. Stella, can you go back to the library site for the meetings? Because I was one of those people struggling to find the agenda. Thank you, Diana, for helping me. But I wanted to just look at the library site because
Yes, sorry.
in the board, there you go. So when I first came here, I didn't realize that the dates were links to the agenda, and it doesn't say that. And if you scroll down the page, it shows you what I thought is where the agenda would be located, but it was still showing December here. Okay, today it's showing January. Yesterday it was showing December. Okay. Okay, so the dates have the agenda, and then the agenda can also be found there. There's two spots then, or?
Yes, so we can rethink that, because that may be a little bit too much. That may have mimicked a little bit more of how we were on the old side as well.
Okay,
So I'll let Diana
We
interject.
did that December because there was a work session and the voucher session.
okay,
And there was, that was the only way we can link to both,
gotcha.
because they can only link to one.
So so then you might not be using this section, you're saying, you might
Right.
just stick with the date.
That section was a workaround.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
And so Stella and I hadn't had a chance to talk about it yet, about getting rid of that little, blurb, unless you feel it's helpful to have there.
I mean, I would, for helpful, like, for easy navigation, it's just above the date saying agendas are linked in the date. Because there, you know, like, when you see links on a page, often there's a line under it that gives you the impression that's a link. I just scan it and I didn't even try to hover over any of the dates, because it didn't look at all like they were gonna be links to anything, so. That's super cool that those were links to the agenda, I just didn't realize that, so maybe either wording or lines that make them appear like links. But anyway, that's just a recommendation.
Okay.
For.
and I had actually forgotten about the situation that Diana reminded me of last month. I think that was when we were doing the transition and the timing of the board meeting and the timing of the website going live. Just trying to think of a temporary solution, so thanks Diana for reminding me.
That blurb might be where it says for previous meeting agendas and recordings or something, because there's no reference to anything prior,
Okay.
and that could link out to the commissioner's page.
Okay. That's great. Then we probably have to do some wording about scroll down to the libraries, you know, because that page has all of the different county departments.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because for best web design, in theory, we don't want to have the same link on the same page. That, you know, a little more confusing if we continue to have two spots. Any other questions?
It is very clean.
Yeah. Very easy to do.
Great work. Okay. Do we have any other business to bring up? Miles?
I just kind of wanted to bring up some questions or open dialogue. I know we did approve the kind of what AI materials the library will carry, or we'll talk about that. I've been seeing a lot of things kind of pushing back against Libby incorporating more AI into it. Overdrive is pushing more AI into the algorithm. We've got an AI thing, like taking notes here, even though Lindsay is doing great note taking here, and just kind of like a broad guidance on how the library is approaching AI. I know this Microsoft Copilot thing has been giving problems with privacy. So I personally am pretty opposed to the just like bending over and having AI integrate into everything we do. And I wanted to open, maybe it's a larger discussion than just today, but how we could approach AI if we are able to like send a letter from the board to Libby. It seems like our most 7,000 Libby things borrowed in the last month from the library. Do we have any power in pressuring those organizations to integrate less AI, or what that discussion looks like?
I'm a little cynical, probably, but I'm guessing you could make your concerns known, but they're not going to. Because it just, it makes money and it's proliferating exponentially. It's like there's books put on Libby all the time that are recorded by AI voices. They are giving us tools to search and limit those or restrict those from your search, but it makes money for them. So I'm guessing they don't care. But I'm being concerned of making our voice known to them. The county is in the process of establishing an AI policy, which commissioners will since fairly soon. And it's written in a way that departments can then add on their own piece of the policy that fits their needs, and that's with implement some how we use it in the library, what it can be used for, things like that. But we need to find a way to adapt because it's not going to go away. Yeah.
Somewhere on Libby, there must be a way to turn on TV.
Most of how they're integrating it is like suggesting other titles and books that you've read, XYZ titles. Yeah, it's like auto generating.
I've seen that, but I'm wondering if it's.
There's a way to refine your search so that you can filter out AI generated materials. I don't know that there's a way to turn it off from knowing
from
your reading history and making those kinds of suggestions.
But if we can find a short explanation, we could put it on the website telling customers, you can do this if you don't want an AI generated this.
The one downside to that is most people go directly to Libby or have the Libby app, and they're not ever going to connect through our website.
That's true.
But it doesn't hurt to have some sort of messaging anyway for those who might stumble on it.
Yeah, to me, I mean, from the speaker series talk a few days ago, I'm just general. It's like if we all just bend over backwards to it, then it does steamroll everything. I agree, it's probably not going to do much to have a board of female to this big company, but yeah, it just feels like something, or maybe just an AI. I know that's already a very full schedule for the spring, but you know, AI conversations with the public from a speaker series or something going forward just feels like a very prescient topic for treasury users.
Yeah.
It used to be that I Googled something and all of my previous links to blogs or whatever would come up. Now I get this really long list of AI generated ideas that I have to scroll down to the bottom. And I just do it unless I'm in a hurry, and then I'll use the AI.
Yeah, there's an annoying workaround. I mean, I'm trying to move away from fully away from every Google product, every Microsoft product, but it's a very See it created over
I'd be
there.
interested to see what happens with the Libre office. Do they have an AI?
I haven't used it yet, so I don't know if it does or not. I know it's open source and is
Yeah.
local to the machine rather than the cloud, so they're, I don't,
Yeah.
I can't answer your specific.
Yeah.
Just the user generated open source nonprofit
Yes.
structure of it seems probably kind of proposed to their kind of integration.
Telling Stella yesterday that Alexa has changed. The machine used to just give you what you asked for, and now she wants to have a conversation with you. And it's rather annoying.
I get a kick out of doing a chat GPT search and saying at the end, when I'm ready to get rid of it, thank you very much. And I get this long message back. Well, I'm so glad I was able to blah, 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 blah. It's really kind of fun.
Yeah, we look at those rate increases, Wyoming's building some big data centers that are gonna use more energy than every single home in the entire state. Like, there's ways in which it's starting to run away, but probably bigger than before.
Okay, thanks for bringing that up, Magus. Any other topics of interest or concern? If not, then I will move to adjourn this January 15, 2026 regular meeting.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, then, we'll see you in February.
Thank you.
Thanks, Meg.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.
Thanks for joining.
Absolutely. Thank you.